Hi, my name is Jada, and this is my lesson planning portfolio for EDET590 Effective Teaching. So to introduce my lesson plans, this lesson plan sequence in the portfolio is catered for Year 7 English students working under the Australian curriculum in New South Wales. This simulated lesson plan is based at the School of John Terry Catholic High School, which is founded on the Marist philosophy. My lesson plans cater for students with learning disabilities such as dyslexia, dysgraphia, ADHD, students under the autism spectrum, and those who are learning English as a second language or dialect, so EALD students. To get into the construction of my lesson plans are were made using the New South Wales Mandatory Lesson Plan template, which are used by all schools in New South Wales. So to start it off, in the beginning of the lesson plans, it has your links to the Australian curriculum, and those links will be used throughout all three of our lesson sequences in this portfolio. You've got your second column up on the left there, which shows the English learning intentions for Year 7 English, and those learning intentions will be successfully completed through these three lesson plans by the students. In your third column, you've got the assessment and success criteria. So in each of the lesson plans, all three of them, they will have different assessment and success criteria. So it's the success criteria and what the students should be able to comprehend and complete by the end of each lesson. Underneath that, you've got the prior knowledge. So if the main teacher isn't teaching at the moment, the substitute teacher or the relieving teacher should be able to come in and know what the students have learned in previous classes so they aren't repeating themselves, and just to give them some context behind each lesson plan. It also shows the differentiation for the students that are in the class. So if they need extra help, for those students who need extra learning care, that will be in that section too. Directly underneath it, you've got the lesson sequence. So it starts out with the introduction. In your first column, you've got the lesson content. So they will be your English learning intentions for each task in that column. Second column, your time frame for which the task should be complete in. Teaching strategies. You've got, so each task, how the task is going to be given out, how it should be completed, and then in your fourth column, you've got the learning strategy, so how the student should complete the tasks and what they are going to do through each task. Your fifth column, you've got your resources and organization, so each resource that you need, whether it be ICT, worksheets, anything like that, or your differentiation resources, they will be in that fifth column. And then directly underneath that, you've got your closure as well. And so how you're going to close the class and what they should be completed by then is directly underneath in the assessment strategies. Going into lesson plan 1, you've got our introduction to the visual literacy topic. So this is just an introductory lesson. As it is a Year 7 class going straight into high school, and it is earlier in the year, we've tried to make this tasks more entertaining and fun for them instead of very content heavy, just to give that transfer from primary school to high school nice and smooth. So first thing here, they're going to be looking at connections, making connections through visual cues. And we're using a lot of exploratory language and inclusive language as it is a collaborative task with the whole class and the teacher. So making connections through different cultural backgrounds and schemes for the students to visual images without any context behind it. So for example, a teacher will hold up a reindeer, students might say it reminds me of Christmas, of hunting, different things from different backgrounds. It's also inclusive to EALD students who may come from different backgrounds or may not have the same language capabilities. Using the use of these visual cues, we'll be able to include them in with the class. Creating this dialogic classroom and having all this different language and communication styles, Alexander speaks of how it is important in enhancing this learning through structured and communicative questioning and discussion. After that, we've got our interactive writing. So from these visual cues, you can go straight into the comic strip, which will have no text in it, and students will be able to add their own text by making connections from the facial expressions on the characters and making up their own story. We've done this whole lesson plan through the use of Bloom's taxonomy scheme, like the method, teaching method, as it comprises of the elements of knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So you can see you've got your remembering and understanding through your connections and visual cues in that first task. Second task, you've got analyzing and evaluating. So we're doing our interactive writing and we're evaluating a text. And then we are creating a text as well with that. And this also aligns up with their assessment that will be coming up. Jumping into lesson 2, we've got the gradual release of responsibility model shown in here, as we've got starting out the class with our review on homework and showing our visual literacy techniques that we got from our prescribed text of Alice in Wonderland. Introducing those students into the petal paragraph structure, which is PETAL, point, example, technique, analysis, and link. By deconstructing these points and teaching the students how to make a paragraph structure, it goes into the building the field method, which helps students with learning disabilities deconstruct the work given to them, have a guided instruction from the teachers, so teaching them how to make that paragraph, and then once the student has comprehended this method, they are able to go ahead and apply it to their own work independently. So this goes in with both the gradual release of responsibility and the building the field method, as they deconstruct the content. They do a joint construction, so guided with the class, and then they're able to go ahead by themselves and have their independent work. This also goes in with the learning model of Lev-Vykotski's zone of proximal development and Albert Bandura's work on attention, retention, reproduction, and motivation. Our third lesson plan, we are looking at group work using the cubing method. We use a lot of ICT as well in this lesson plan, as it goes through making a presentation with their iPads in small groups of around 3 or 4. So using the group work, using this cubing method by the New South Wales Department of Education in their strategies of differentiation, each group will get a following question about the text, as highlighted over on your right, and each group will have to describe a part of the text, compare it, associate it, analyze it, apply it, or argue for and against it. By these students going out and doing their independent work, working together, it will build their social and communication skills. Also, as presenting it to the class, it'll be a different person teaching them. So instead of looking at the same teacher all the time, they will have a different way of communication, as it's their peers, so they might feel a bit closer and understand the content a bit better from someone their own age. So this student and present and teacher interaction feedback, it improves on building on students' word knowledge and is pervading element of any teaching and learning program, and opportunities to develop vocabulary that have been identified. This is also really well for ELD students who need work on communicating to the class. But if they do need the assistance on that, they are able to have the think, pair, share work. They are able to have a dialect coach with them. Any help that they can have, or students with social anxiety, they will be able to come to the class, to the teacher, and we will be able to work out maybe an alternative presentation scheduling for them to help out with them. So they'll be still able to have the work done, but just do it in a different way for them. So the differentiation methods that we have seen so far are the building the field method, use of visual aids, and the use of small group work. The way to get the correct differentiation methods from the teacher is classroom observation. So personally, as a teacher will know their students one by one, they will know what works well for them and what doesn't. So as you can see by the model on the right, the teacher can teach, they can self-assess after that, see what they did right, see what went well with the students, see what didn't go well. You can pick out your students and see who needs the learning needs specifically and who doesn't. And from there, they can consider what works, put it into practice, and then they can do the cycle again until they get the hang of their class. Every student is different, so they will need to observe what is going on and what they need to do with that. Another good way of differentiation is the think, pair, share method. For those who do need the help, they can be paired with a higher gifted student and work with peer without without getting any help from the teacher and singling them out, they can do the think, pair, share methods. Use of ICT for learning engagement. So ICT can boost students' involvement with learning tasks and may find working with it to be enjoyable. As we are living in the 21st century, the use of iPads, iPhones is very prominent in their lives. So engaging their schoolwork with their not social media, but with their technology is a very interesting thing to do. John Terry Catholic College is a bring your own device school, so the use of iPads is encouraged in class for engagement, as that is what they're most used to. But there is the APSTs that go over, so teachers can demonstrate a knowledge of teaching strategies that are responsive for learning strengths and the needs of students. So using these iPads can also be good for students who have those learning needs and disabilities, so they can go over that together. The legal and ethical requirements. John Terry Catholic High School show that they do a contract for their students who do work in who do work with technology and ICT, that they do have to sign an appropriate use of internet agreement so that they are using and developing cyber safe practices. The APSTs also go over that they must understand and apply the key principles described in the Code of Ethics and Conduct for Teaching Profession and understand the relevant legislative, administrative, and organizational policies and process required for teachers according to school stage. So through these activities, the teacher is a guide for them, but still going under the APSTs for the legal and ethical requirements and keeping the children safe first and foremost. Thank you.